important while we're going to get started, we just want to we'll give you an overview of what we're going to do here. It's going to kind of be around the world with your spouse, if you will. We figured we'd make it a very special Valentine's edition. And you can kind of hear from the spouses of True Vision Health. I think that's really important. And if you are a spouse of one of us, we applaud you. I can't applaud you enough. So thanks, and shout out to all the spouses that are here to support us and everything that we do all day, every day, because I know I can speak on behalf of all of us that we could not do it without them. But we thought it was really important to kind of get the spouses involved, because I know that there's some people that don't, maybe have an unsupportive spouse. Maybe your spouse has been negative. Maybe, there's so many different circumstances. So we just wanted to kind of hear from some have had negative mindsets and they're now positive. We've just seen so many different things happen in different relationships. So we thought it was important to kind of host this event. So Alicia, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you because you're the first couple up to interview.
Yay. So Lacey, can you unmute yourself? So there's the ability to unmute. Hey, what's up, Lacey and Brian?
Hey.
What's up?
Ooh, it's echoing.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh. So you guys, this is Brian and Lacey Hood. And the reason why I love talking to them, especially in the aspect of our business and couples, is because Lacey and Brian do a lot of the business together. And I've witnessed it firsthand, her basically getting after him, telling him, what have you done today? And blah, blah, blah. They're totally awesome, but they actually both work this business together. So Lacey, can you kind of like maybe elaborate or just talk about like what the dynamics look like with you guys, with your business, marriage, family, just kind of give us a little rundown.
I think it's kind of, it's kind of day to day. We both do the business, but then we both do the kids. I tend to do more of the business stuff, and then Brian does a little bit more of the kids stuff, but we kind of just, he can totally just pick up my phone and pretend to be me. That's what he's really good at it. And so he's just like, hey girl, what's up? Or whatever to people. And I don't know, it works out pretty good, I guess.
So
yeah, she uses less exclamation points and emojis than she does. Just slightly. The only difference.
He does.
You guys, it cracks me up because they have like multiple phones. Like he has his, she has hers, and they have theirs. So they have like several phones that they work with. I have seen it, and she'll be like, did you check this phone? Did you go through the messages of this phone? And they literally side by side do this. It's absolutely insane. But Lacey, when you first started, was Brian automatically all in? Did he have to watch? Like, what did it look like kind of from the beginning of you guys? What made him actually jump in?
I think he was kind of like, okay, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's not like he would never say, not to, or that it would be, stupid or whatever, but he was just like, cool, whatever you want to do. But I mean, I think eventually, once the business really started to be a lot more work and a lot more like me on my phone, I was like, maybe we should have you quit your job and then just come and do the business with me, and then help more with the kids and stuff, because it was like, I mean, you guys all know, like, it takes time. And so, but he's always pretty much been there and ready to be helpful and supportive.
So that's your take. But Brian, what is your that's Lacey's take, but Brian, what is your take? Like, what did you actually think? Because the reason we really wanted to do this is because this industry is predominantly women. It just is. And a lot of women don't have support from their spouses. Some do, some don't. There's so many different circumstances. So we really wanted to hear different things from some of the men, and kind of like their story, like their take on it versus ours. So, I mean, what did you think?
Well, I mean, there was a few different phases. She basically told me at the very beginning, like, there's this thing that I heard about, but I don't really think that it works. So I'm going to go to this thing and get a trial of it. And then I'm sure it won't work, but I'm going to try it out or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, well, I lost a bunch of weight, so I'm going to buy more of it, and I'm never going to not take this or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then she says, I think I'm actually going to sell it, and I think I think it'll go really well, and blah blah blah. And it's going to be kind of expensive to start off with, or whatever. I don't know. Like every like step of the way, she'd fill me in because we try to keep each other like in the loop of everything. It's just I'm a pretty easygoing guy, so as long as she wasn't being like, I'm going to mortgage our house in order to like buy into this cult or something, I'm not going to say anything, as long as it's something relatively reasonable. I'm not going to really naysay it or whatever. And I just let things fall where they may, because I'm under the impression that like there's not a lot of point in just doubting everything if you don't have any real reason to. Like if you're just the one that just shoots everything down just for the heck of it. So when she goes along, if it's important to her and it's not unreasonable or whatever, and we can discuss it, I don't see a point in shooting it down or whatever. Like she's tried a lot of different things, and I just let her do what she's going to do or whatever. But then, as things progressed, like I said, I'm easygoing. I don't really pay a whole lot of attention. And she started telling me like how much money she was making and stuff. And I was like, you're making more than I am? And then she was like, yeah, I have been for a while actually. And that shows how little I pay attention to like our finances and everything. I just let things just kind of happen. So I was like, well, why am I still working? And then she was like, I was thinking the same thing. You could just like come and do what I'm doing or whatever. And I was like, well, how would I do that? And then she just basically told me how she did it. And my philosophy when it comes to like work and things like that is, if somebody's already done the hard work of figuring things out for you, I don't feel like I need to reinvent the wheel. I'm not going to be like prideful and hard pressed to like be like, that's the way you did it, but let me go ahead and create something completely different or whatever, because I think I'm better at everything. So pretty much I just did what she was already doing, and then moved on from there together.
Maybe you better hold on to him, because I think there's a whole lot of women on here that want your husband. I mean, not me, but I'm just saying. I bet you.
That's awesome. Hold on, let me see. So basically, once you've seen, Kaylee, you're cracking me up. That's still playing in my head. Brian, they're after you, Brian. But no, that really is amazing. Like, I mean, it's hard because a lot of times having your spouse doing the business with you can be kind of tough, because sometimes you guys like bump heads. I know me and Ty sometimes like we bump heads with things. So I'll like send him to one of my associates. I'm like, go talk to Tanya, talk to Lacey, talk to somebody else. But you've always been so incredibly coachable. And I just think that that's absolutely awesome. So you feel like, Brian, that it was like once you really started seeing that money come, it really kind of turned it around for you, huh?
It wasn't even necessarily the money. Like I noticed that, but we kind of were discussing it, because I used to work in Spokane, so I'd drive like 40 minutes every single day back and forth to go to this job that, when all things were said and done, I was making like, less than she was. And I was like, well, why am I being away from my family 40 plus hours a week when, you're making more than me working from home or whatever. And she also was telling me that she felt like she was working a bit too much and she wanted to have more time for the kids and things like that. So we thought we might as well go in on it together and try to support each other in our strengths and everything. And that way we can take some of the weight off of each other, and I don't have to be gone all day.
Because how many jobs were you working when Lacey started?
I think by the time I quit, I was doing 3 different ones.
And he was donating plasma.
At one point, yeah, which I'm phobic of blood, so it was pretty tough for me. I had to literally like not pay attention to anything that was going on, or else I'd almost pass out, which is not fun. There's a couple times I actually almost did pass out. There was like a puddle of sweat underneath me, and it was weird.
So, I mean,
I'm glad we.
That's pretty hardcore. That's a crazy testimony.
Tony, come here so I can brush your teeth.
Oh, I just heard somebody brushing their teeth. I'm like, wait, what was that? But anyways, that's a pretty powerful testimony, because when you guys basically started, when Lacey first started, you were working 3 jobs plus donating plasma. And Lacey, what were you doing? You were pretty busy too.
Yeah, I'm a nail tech, so I was doing nails.
So you were doing nails. He was working 3 jobs plus donating plasma. That's crazy. That's crazy. So what has True Vision done for you? Like, I mean, obviously financially it's been amazing for you. And just while we have you on here, do you want to share like what's your weight loss testimony? Because I think it's pretty cool.
I forget already what you said.
Sorry, somebody needs to mute. Okay.
Yeah.
What has True Vision done for me?
Like your weight loss and everything.
Yeah, like your testimony, your weight loss testimony. I wanted you to share that too really quick.
Well, I have lost like 72 pounds and I don't even know a lot of inches. So I went from, kind of fat to not really fat. So there you go. I hate talking about it.
I think it's awesome. Okay. Well, awesome. So,
Thank you. That's awesome. That is amazing testimony to, I think obviously her results probably helped a little bit, as far as like Brian saying, okay, this actually does work. This is legit. Because I think a lot of us are seeing like things that, our husbands are like, oh, this doesn't really work or whatever. So anyhow, thank you, Lacey and Brian, for sharing that with us. And it's amazing to see your teamwork. So congratulations to you. And your 72 pounds is pretty amazing, Lace. I know you don't like to talk about it, but from the first time I saw you to the next time, you literally look like a different person. Beautiful always, but congratulations on your success. And I love the two of you too. You're both pretty amazing. So I want to jump in, and my question is for Darren. So for those of you who do not know, Allie and Darren together have a slew of children. She has 4 kids under the age of 6. So you can only imagine what a day in the life of them looks like. So I'm going to turn it over to Darren. Darren, my question to you is, what does a day in the life of Darren Carlson look like? So share us a little bit about how those dynamics work and look for you guys.
Let's just say at the end. Well, I mean, we've come a long ways. When we first started, we were both working at the onset of the whole thing, and luckily, she's been successful enough to retire me early. And so, a day in the life of the Carlson residents, I generally get the kids off to school and get them on their way, and then that allows her time to work. Try to keep up with the kids all day long best I can, and then share the duties all day long. I guess that's what I have to say on that.
That's perfect. And Darren, what can you tell us? Like, what have you seen different from Allie, from when she started to kind of where she is now? Where would you say you've seen the most changes as far as Allie goes?
Well, when we first started, it was like a leap of faith type of deal, like everybody else, I think. So I think she found her purpose in life and what she really is good at. And I don't think she was happy doing other jobs. She was good at it. But I think this has really brought out the best in her. It just, when you find that thing that you passionately love and you want to do, it's no longer a job. It's exciting to go to work. It's exciting to do that. I just see a whole different life in her soul, if that makes sense. Being passionate about what she's doing and good at it to boot. So that always helps.
That's awesome. I love seeing the two of you together and kind of how you work it. Because like I said, just having 4 children in general is a lot of work. And then the balancing act, and 2 of them are under 2, I should also add. So for those of you who aren't super familiar with them. So my hat's off to you. I think Allie and I are secretly soul sisters. Sometimes we're so much alike. So I totally applaud what you do every day. Dealing with Allie and all her greatness. So I appreciate the 2 of you so much. So thanks for sharing a little bit about that, Darren, because I think it's important to see, you see that what your wife is doing, and you encourage that, and you just kind of fuel her passion. So we appreciate you, and thanks for letting us have so much of Allie's time. Are they frozen or am I frozen?
I can hear you.
They're frozen.
Okay, they're frozen. I'm like, not sure if they're frozen or I'm frozen.
Can
I
you hear
don't
me
know.
now?
You froze.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay,
We can
sorry.
hear you now.
I was
It's okay.
just like, you were just talking, and then it was like, boop, gone. Everybody was gone.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I'm like, am I frozen or them? So thank you all so much for sharing. Thanks, Darren. I know you have to get those kids to bed. So I appreciate you hopping on. And thanks for letting us have so much of Allie. She truly is a huge asset to this company and everyone that she, touches. So thanks for letting us have so much of Allie's shine.
Thank you. See ya.
Okay, so Ty and Alicia, where are you guys? I'm on my phone now, so I'm gonna have to scroll over.
I know. I'm like, where are you?
Okay, so Ty, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Ellie?
Good. Good to see your face. I missed you guys. So tell me a little bit about. So I don't know how many people know like your guys' story. So like tell me, I guess, a little bit about like some of the stuff that you guys went through in the beginning, before True Vision, and what all of that sort of stuff looked like, so that we can get a good picture of now versus then, I guess.
Well, I guess before True Vision, I was the breadwinner of the family. So I was the one doing mainly the work, and I was supporting the family. So that was kind of what was going on at first. And then she was getting involved in a different company, and I was like, I was always 100% for her in anything she does. So that was no problem. But she got in that company, and it wasn't really doing anything. So I knew I didn't have to do anything. I had to keep on working. So I was like, keep on working. But then once she got into True Vision, it did change a lot. It changed a lot. It didn't start off as great, but it did change over the time.
So yeah, and so you guys were, I guess it's easy to say, like in a place where you were struggling before.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
You have as many kids we had, and there's one person making the money. It was a big struggle.
Baby's kids.
Some bills got put on the back burner, while others the important bills got paid. So it was like, and our credit is to show how bad it was. I mean, the credits got bad over that period for going through those hard times.
Yeah. So I guess, was it like, because you guys are struggling so hard, was it hard to watch her jump into something new and leave what she was doing and try this all over again?
I guess that's
Well, when I first started or even got involved in network marketing, it was just to kind of lose weight, and then I kind of like, it was like this whole nother world. So I mean, yeah, that's Debbie Johnson.
Hi,
He's
Debbie.
like, well, don't look at the chat, you'll be distracted. But so I had joined another company first to lose weight. I didn't lose any weight, but that's where I kind of learned that there was like this whole business thing. And I mean, he was pretty good about it. He never, kind of like Brian, he never said, oh, you shouldn't do that. He was just kind of like, oh, that's really cute. Like, almost like, I don't know, like, oh, that's just really nice. And so, I mean, he was never not supportive. I just don't really think that he probably thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I just know that I had to continue to work, do what I had to do for the family, because I wasn't counting on that. That wasn't something I could count on. I guess I say it like that. I wasn't counting on it. So
Yeah. So what was your like aha moment? Like okay, I'm in. Like, what was it? An event, or was it when she started making, like, what was it for you guys?
aha moment, I guess when she first started with True Vision, she lost all the weight, and that was so I saw her spirits just climb to the roof, like she was excited about it. I mean, wow, she's, that's a good thing, so I want to, continue with that. So that was a big thing. And then also as our, we started taking it and seeing other people involved, start taking it, and especially her son. When her son started taking it and with his diabetes and stuff, and that was a big thing for her as well as myself. And so when that happened, I was like, when she's excited about it, I'm definitely excited about it. Then it, with her itself, this business, like, when somebody was made for doing something, well, over this period of time, I found out that this is what she was made to do. So it made it a lot easier for me to just to ride along right side up, with her.
But when did you actually? I'm questioning him. I'm like, but when did you actually? When did you actually realize like this is the real deal? Like, was there any specific like thing?
I think this little thing that I had going for her. I told her, I says, if she can replace my income, that was the deal. If she can replace my income, then I would be more involved in helping her, being right next side of her. I mean, I always supported her, but actually worked inside this side of her. And then that happened in probably less than 2 years, or a year and a half, or 2 years. What was that?
No, definitely the first
So
year,
then I was
probably.
stuck with that promise I made. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, So, but yeah, that's kind of my aha moment when she doubled my income. That was a big deal changer for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, hang on. There's a question here. Do you feel like your personal belief in the products contributes to your level of support? So like you were saying that you saw her lose weight and start looking good and feeling good and all those things. Do you think that that helped with your level of belief, like for you personally?
It did, because actually when I started, she got me involved in taking it. And actually my first week of taking the products, I gained 5 pounds. So if anybody was able to, after that, you gain 5 pounds, you'd be like, this stuff it's not working for me. So you kind of have that already in the back of your mind that this is not for me. But, as I see her doing that, she told me this to continue going and keep on going. So after a few months of taking it, I finally lost the weight that I was trying to lose. And so, yes, I definitely believe in the products. I think it does a lot. It did a lot for my belief, for her as well.
Awesome. Sorry, I muted myself on accident. Okay, well, thank you guys for sharing a little bit about your story and stuff. Elise, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. All right, perfect. So thank you all for sharing that. I think that's really important. And, the dynamics do kind of change, like Ty said. So next up on the chopping block, a couple of my favorite people. We have our youngest 4-star, Allie Adkins, and her fiance, Travis, joining us. I had the opportunity to spend some time with them. I actually got to celebrate her 21st birthday with them, and just kind of fell in love with them and their relationship. But I think what's important here is Travis was absolutely kind of totally against it. So we kind of have another end of the spectrum here. So Travis is going to share a little bit about his story, what kind of turned around for him, and kind of where he was at. So Travis and Allie, I'm going to turn it over to you to share a little bit of your story. You can just unmute.
Hey, we're here. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, no, they can hear me. Okay, so
we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we are kind of the opposite end of the spectrum here. I think it's super sweet that everybody else that has talked so far was super supportive at first, but that was not exactly the case for us. Travis basically hated me for the first year that I was working this business. I was on my phone 24/7. What else? What else was I doing 24/7? What bugged you?
Well, I was farm, born and risen. I mean, I didn't have all that technology and whatever else. Now, if you wanted something, you worked for it, with your hands. You didn't go on the phone. So her being on the phone all the time was like taking time away from, us or whatever. That's what kind of got me.
And we were a brand new family. When I started this, our son was 7 months old. So we had a little baby at home. So I was at home with him. Travis was our only income. We had a lot of debt. Travis had gotten laid off from his job. He was, like I said, the only income. I was at home. So when I started this, I had gotten my tax return, as a lot of other people I'm sure here have started like that as well. But we didn't, this was a risk. I mean, when I got my tax return, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the products. I was overweight. I was almost 200 pounds. I'm going to take the products. And I'm going to do this Motor Club of America thingy, and I'm going to get rich fast, right? So I'm going to go jump on this little scam train, and I'm going to make $800 a week, and I'm going to be fine, right? So I bought 2 months retail because I didn't want the auto ship. And then day 3 of the product, I was in love. I had so much energy. I'd clean the house. I was all in. Sorry, I got distracted from the comments. I was all in on day 3. I called Travis. I'm like, I paid the $35. I am joining this health and wellness company instead. He's like, are you sure about that? Like, he thought I was just going to be a total scammer, right? He thought these little health and wellness get skinny and rich fast companies were a scam.
You see it all over the internet. People trying to do their own business, trying to basically pyramid, and that's what I thought it was, and the major turnaround for me, what made me believe, is when we did Focus.
So keep in mind, this is a year and what, like 4 months. I have already been in the business for a year and 4 months. I had made 3 stars, so I'd earned the Focus trip. We're out in Utah. Right, Utah? Yeah, that's where that is. Yeah, Utah. And so that was the first trip I had brought him on. And I had traveled twice before this, and traveling with young kids is not easy. So I had left him at home twice with our son alone, and I traveled by myself to 2 other true events before this. I went to, oh, sorry. I thought Kaylee was talking to me, not the other Allie. I had gone to Orlando and I had gone to Nashville before this. So at this point, he had no idea where I was going. He had no idea who I was going to hang out with. He had no idea what I was doing at these events. He had no idea what they were about. And he honestly had no idea what our company was about either. I mean, I tried to tell you, but you just didn't really want to listen. You were just like, get off your dang phone, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, sweet. We won this free trip to Focus, and I'm going to bring you, and you're going to like it, right? So we flew out to Vegas, and we had the worst flight experience. We had the worst rental car experience. Like, we don't even want to talk about it, but it was literally like starting off to be the worst travel trip of our life. I'm like, okay, I'm screwed. Like, he has a bad taste of this forever. And we get there, and day 1, he absolutely fell in love with the company. You can talk about this more.
I would say that what made me believe in this company more than anything was the people I met. I like to meet people in person.
It's froze.
Is it still froze?
Uh-oh, are we frozen?
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Still good. Anyway, meeting the people at the company was a big thing for me. I got to talk with them, shake hands, what we do for
play
jobs.
bags.
Yeah, I mean, hang out. I mean, these are people that you could literally sit down, drink a beer with, have a conversation, and just hang out. They're not some people that are overseas that you don't ever,
right,
meet or anything.
And I think the thing that made you kind of just like have your aha moment, like this is real, is like the stories that our founders and our leaders had to tell at this event. Like, you've kind of got a taste of what we were actually doing here. We weren't just, trying to feed people these diet pills to get skinny. We're actually trying to change these people's lives. And I think once you heard that from real humans instead of just from me showing you things on my phone, I think that was like, wow, super eye-opening for you.
Well, it probably didn't help that I harassed the crap out of him.
That's true. That's definitely true.
That wasn't that bad.
And then after that, you were really, really good. And you still hadn't taken the products. You'd never taken the products. I had been with the company for almost a year and a half. And I brought you to Dallas. I brought him to True Summit in Dallas in August when we released the drink, the True Fix drink. And as soon as we got home, he started taking the True Fix drinks for the first time. And you lost 21 pounds in your first 2 months or something like that. It was just amazing. Like, he had just all of a sudden something changed in him.
I'm not big. I don't have a whole lot of weight to lose. It was
he drinks beer.
So
for real.
But no, it was fat around the organs and whatnot is what they had said that was going away. Not fat around my body, which I don't really have.
Not your biceps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he started taking the products and he started to feel good, and he started to just get behind what we were actually doing here. And it just took me to actually just show him that instead of just telling him that. To Kaylee, you're making me get sidetracked. But it just took me actually showing him that these are real people, these are real products, and this is what we're doing here. We're not just trying to feed people these skinny pills and get rich fast. I mean, we're actually trying to change people's lives here. And once he finally saw that, I think he really, really came around.
Yeah.
So I think that's
It's the people and the stories, and that's in the product. I mean, personally taking it, that's what made me believe. That's why I stand by it.
So I think the biggest thing here to take away, and I would take this as your tip, Travis, is to definitely get your spouse to an event so that they can experience this, they can see the real people, they can talk to real testimonies, and see that it really is real. That's going to be our best takeaway from you two, is because Allie had amazing results herself. Like she had amazing results herself. So I think the biggest thing is getting to these events. And Travis, as the husband, soon-to-be husband of Allie, who just went 4-star, the youngest 4-star in our company, like, what are your thoughts on our business now? What does the dynamics kind of look like now?
Absolutely outstanding. I mean, the things that she can do for other people and the things that you guys do for her or for us, for our family, is outstanding.
That's so awesome. Again, I love you too. Thank you so much for being on and sharing this part of your life and your journey with us. It's been great to watch, and I look forward to just your continued success in our friendship. Like I said, it was so great spending time with you all, and that's what it's all about. That's what motivates me, is I love every single person. I love spending that time together. So I appreciate you all for doing this, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Alicia, you're up.
Hey. So, Jonathan, Doretha. Jonathan, what's up with that cowboy hat?
He probably wore it to the gym.
You gotta unmute.
Howdy, ma'am.
What the heck?
How's it going?
Oh, Jonathan.
I used to live in Texas. Every once in a while, I like recycle like my old Texas vibe.
You're a nutcase. So, Doretha, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, beautiful girl. So, okay, so to me, this is awesome because this business is predominantly women, but it's not all. Where are you? There you went. Well, Jonathan's kind of. He's one of the girls. No. No. Anyways, but I mean, this business is predominantly women, and Jonathan is actually the one who jumped in and started the business. And so I think like this is awesome to have you on here. So on the flip side, we could really talk to you about what that looks like. So, I mean, what does the dynamic look like, having, your husband in a business that's predominantly women? Because I can say like just right here, I mean, I know Allie and Elise and all of us, like Jonathan's one of our besties. Like we just love him to death. But I mean, what does that look like? How do you deal with your husband being in a business that's like overran with women?
Well, I mean, it all starts with trust. You got to have that. One thing I would suggest, get in there and meet these women yourself. And I love y'all just as much and have fun with y'all as he does. Probably. But I've got to know you guys. And I mean, to me, that was the biggest thing, was just getting in there instead of standing on the sideline, maybe judging or whatever, but just get in there and be a part of it. And it's a barrel of fun. And everybody is a barrel of fun. You girls are a blast, and I could see. And also on the business side, it's good to see him getting in there, getting to know, because you have to do that with the business like this. You can't just stand on the sideline and not do and get involved and get to know and be a part of things. So right now it's easier for him to go travel and be at all of these things. We still have a child that's at home in school, so I got to stay here, keep that down. So to me, I mean, like I said, just get in there and know everybody. And it's easy at that point.
We're all pretty good people once you get to know us.
Yeah.
And Doretha, you're a saint. We always say that. We're like, Jonathan, I'm like, you are lucky to have that woman as your wife because she is a saint.
Hey, I'm not arguing. I agree. So,
Yeah.
when we first got into business, we had 2 other companies in New Orleans. And so Doretha actually took over those businesses and allowed me to pursue True Vision because we knew that's what we wanted to do. And so it was a gigantic sacrifice on her part. If it was swapped around, I don't know that I could have supported her as much as she supported me. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
She is supportive. She's like the most amazing. Hey, listen. So like you are one of my best friends and Doretha has ended up one of my best friends. I'm pretty sure that I text you both all the time and randomly send you both pictures. I'm just saying. So, yeah, you guys are amazing. Absolutely amazing.
True Vision changed our life, and now we have the freedom to do whatever we want to do. And thank God we made those sacrifices. And now Doretha is a 4-star director. She's got her own team here in Knoxville that we work with every day. And so it's awesome to watch her. And she was one of the top enrollers on our entire team last month. And she's doing it. She's a badass.
Yeah, I love seeing like you traveling around doing stuff, and then when you're gone off doing that, like Doretha's there in the office with the girls, like you guys have like the whole setup, working at home. She's like helping do the meetings, so I love it. You guys are like a power couple team taking on like all sides of it. It's really amazing to watch, actually.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Alicia, I want to say one thing while we're here. Everybody knows I'm one of the faces of the 10K. And
not true.
Promote this a little bit. You know, we have amazing pills, but we also have this program, and look for a tour coming near you. And we've got amazing pills, but we still need to get up and be exercising and running and walking and stuff to take care of our bodies as well. So
hey, Jonathan,
go plug to
the runner. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
The runner, Jonathan. Look, Doretha's just laughing.
Don't believe anything he said.
Yeah, nobody believe him. In fact, Jonathan came out here to do a meeting with me, and it was either the day before or the day after we had the 10K pledge. He just miraculously wasn't anywhere around for that part. So don't even let him try it. He showed up for the meeting and not for the run.
I was at the 20K pledge that day.
Shame on you.
Do y'all see what we deal with on a regular basis? Like, I wish Darla was here to witness this, him acting out like this, Doretha, because Darla was thinking we're so mean to Jonathan and blah, blah, blah. No.
The shirt don't, they just don't give these to anybody. I mean, you got to earn them.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, it is her shirt. Anyway, I got one of these though.
I can't with that guy.
I can't, y'all. This is great. So perfect. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Jonathan, with Doretha. I appreciate everything that you do that kind of makes this world go round. Darren has on his hat too. Darren, Matt, go get a hat. He's got on his army hat.
Well, listen, I tell you all the time, Matt, Darren, Ty, they're saints too. Trust me. So
yeah,
their place is here in heaven already.
It is
Darren's ready for war. You're ready for the rodeo. We're good to go. What is even happening here? Darren probably does have to wear that at home quite often.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Matt needs one, he says. Send one to Matt, Darren. That's perfect. Well, thank you all for sharing. We appreciate everything you both bring to the table. So I'm going to jump out of line a little bit. Allie, I sent you a message, but I'm going to move to Brittany and Mark Klein. They're going to share a little bit of their personal story, and theirs is quite extreme. So Brittany and Mark, are you with me and ready to share?
Yes. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
Mark, don't Yes, I can hear you. Mark,
Okay.
right.
That's difficult for him, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
So our story is a little bit different. We started obviously dating when we were in high school, so we're high school sweethearts. But when I started this business, I started it when Elisa started it back in 2014, and
I went in it, you know, not really knowing what was going to happen, but I did end up losing, you know, 150 pounds, which is amazing. But he ended up, he kind of said, I'll believe it when I see it. That was his saying. I'll believe it when I see it. He didn't really believe in the culture. He thought it was a pyramid scheme. He said, you're always on your phone. You constantly are on your phone. And I don't know. You want to explain a little bit of how you felt in that situation?
All right. So basically, I'm going to apologize now. I'm worse than Kaylee. So if I cuss, I apologize. So if you got kids, whatever, turn it down. So basically, when she first started this and she talked about Elisa and yada, 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 she had already tried the other stuff. Can I say the other company's name?
No.
Okay. Well, she tried the other stuff, and the other stuff was no good. And so I was like, oh, so you're just going to waste more of our money. You're going to waste more of our time. Whatever, do it. I believe it when I see it. But when I win and say, I told you so, I'm going to tell you I told you so. And then, so then she started taking it and she started losing a little bit of weight, a little bit. Then she lost a little bit more, and then she lost a lot more. Then she started doing these meetings with Elisa here and there. And then I would kind of just not pay attention, like whatever, she's just wasting time, but okay. But then I would hear from like her mom, her grandma, her friends, like, hey, we were at this meeting. There was 50, 60 people there. And after the meeting, Brittany had a line of 20, 30 women after their 2-3 hour meeting that they wanted to talk to her. They drove from Jacksonville, Miami, wherever at the time. I can't really remember, but like, and all these people wanted to know like how she did and like her story. And it was so moving and touching. And it was like, okay, maybe this is, you know, whatever. I mean, I didn't see any financial aspects of it from that point on, or from that point. And then for me, I mean, it really hit me when we went to Focus. I think Focus was my like aha moment where like we were with a close group of people. And I think we went somewhere else too. And then same thing. I can't remember where else we went, but it was like Nashville, and you meet these people, and then it's like all these people like you've never seen before. Like I've heard names, you know, I hear every night, oh, I'm talking to so-and-so. Okay, whatever. You're always on your phone, whatever. But it was like all these people would come up and talk to you and shake your hand and like, how are you doing? And this, that, and the other. And you're like, wow, I'm really making a difference, let alone from all the other stuff that you get with, you know, the financial aspect of it. Mine was more the amount of people.
The culture of everything. What he didn't mention is we actually separated for a time because he got so overwhelmed emotionally, and like he had a lot of like resentment towards me, I think, where he was just like, you know, you're just doing this and you're not going to amount to anything, and this is just wasting our marriage, wasting our time. And then he did a lot of counseling, a lot of soul searching and everything like that, and he was able to like realize that I was doing this for us and not for the benefit of me. And that's kind of where a lot of things turned around for us when he got to experience the culture. I think for a while, I don't even think he thought Elisa was real. Like for a while,
she wasn't real. She was this make-believe person.
Because I would go to meetings and stuff like that. I'd be like, so we did this or we did that. And he's just like, okay, whatever. And, you know, I would tell her story or different things like that, different things she's done in the past. And he's like, yeah, bull. Like, I don't believe you. But what, you know, but then he started to see like the financial aspect of everything, that I'm able, you know, to support our whole house with like bills and everything like that. And it really changed a lot for him, where he was like, okay, and these people are really awesome. And he's, you know, even a lot of you guys on here, he's been able to experience the culture of our whole organization, not just the associates, but True Vision itself. And that's why I think that events, if you guys are going through anything with your spouses or significant others, like events are huge, because bringing him to an event is where it really changed for him. He really got to see what we do here, and he started to believe in it too, to where he had people talking about the business to him, and at one point was like, you think I could do this? And then he decided that, no, I think I just won't do it. I think that'll just be your thing. But kudos to everyone that does it, that is, you know, a couple and doing it, but just, you know, having a support system there. He now is like a huge support system of True Vision, and he tells all of his friends about it, and he tells everybody, you know, what my wife does. This is how much my wife's lost. Look at this. And it's pretty amazing how that has happened.
Okay, so Mark, what tips would you give people that maybe their spouse isn't supportive? Like, what kind of tips would you give? Obviously, getting to an event, but, you know, I think it's big, you know, communicating. What best tips would you give someone that maybe their spouse isn't very supportive?
Give it time. Nothing happens overnight. No one's going to turn into, you know, a Ryan Higgins, a Jonathan Brisk, or any of y'all. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time. But if you give it time and you let them grow, they will grow. They will blossom. If they are that motivated to do this business, they will grow. Give them the time and support that they need, and it will happen. And it will eventually snowball. They have to build the foundation. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, the world wasn't built in a day. Nothing is built instantaneously, even though we live in an instantaneous society and world and everything else. Give it time, give them support, and go to an event. Go to one of their meetings or sit on one of their calls and just, you know, support them or be a part of it. You know, don't just be negative Nancy or Nigel or whatever and just be, you know, that nagging person, because that's not going to help your cause. You know, help them grow. When they grow, you flourish. And when you flourish, it snowballs. And once it snowballs, then it doesn't stop. The train don't stop once it snowballs. But you got to give it time. You got to give it time to grow.
I love that. Thank you, Mark. That's so sweet. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you all for sharing. You know, that's your personal life. You really opened up about that. So thank you for sharing that. That it really does mean a lot. And I think it's real. This is real life, and we're real life people, and this is what, you know, happens and what people are going through. So thank you both for sharing. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, Elisa and Matt.
We're last on the chopping block.
Yay. You get to tell us all about what it's like to be married to the Elisa Cowart.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, well, let's get straight to the most important question that everybody wants to know. Is she as bossy at home as she is at work?
Oh, she's way bossier. I mean, she bosses three of us around. And just like constantly bossing us around, constantly. And then does it herself. We're not moving fast enough.
No, it's leadership skills.
It's leadership skills, and somebody has to be assertive. Somebody has to tell you what direction to go.
That's right. Yeah, we need some more direction. You know, we're just like three guys here, so she's like the slave driver, basically. But I mean, we need it because we're kind of, you know, like go with the flow, doing our own thing, and she's like on top of everything, you know, pretty much all the time. So
yeah. Okay, well, so you're probably the husband that has been through this and around this thing the longest. So talk to us like a little bit about that for you, like on your end of things, like what that looked like in the beginning, and then as she made, because I mean, you guys were together when she made a pretty big change in her life just in general, coming over here. So just take us through some of that stuff.
Well, it started out like the first trip we ever took together was to Maui with another company. So I kind of knew that it was kind of like, okay, it's pretty big business, and you get to meet a lot of people, and there's not really like an office, you know, which is kind of like a different than most people's job. you don't go to work every day, and do your 9 to 5. She wakes up and is working. She goes to bed and is working until she falls asleep, So it's kind of a little bit different, There's a lot of groundwork has went in from the beginning, and it's just expanding over time. It's gone down so many different avenues as far as where she's at now. As in the beginning, it was a lot of like the grunt work in the beginning, and now it's like she's going like every other direction since then, and she's like a lot of trips and work is like she doesn't go to work every day, but she goes to work for the weekend or a week here, or it's a trip to Utah or a trip to Mexico or a trip to Dallas. It's always so there is a workplace. It's just never the same place, and it's never the same thing. It's always different people, sharing her story and inspiring other people to, get involved and keep pushing through their slump, or you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, stage of the process.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm glad you said that, because I think that that's something that a lot of people don't understand. They see us going to Mexico, they see us going to Costa Rica, they see us flying to Dallas or to Utah, and they don't understand that like this is our job. This is, while it may be a trip that we won or an opportunity that we get to have, it's still our job to show up and be there and participate in that as leaders and as members of this company. So for you, what is that? I mean, was that hard to get used to understand that like sometimes she has to fly and be gone, and not be home?
Yeah, it was, because you don't see it as like being a problem until you're home alone and your wife's gone, for a week or, sometimes 3 or 4 days. It's tough, but it's part of the job, it's just like any other job. But we have a lot of time together, so we eat lunch together probably 3 or 4 times a week. We eat breakfast together. We go to the gym together. And we have a lot of time together where most people don't have that time together. And so the time that we spend where she's off at work is no different. It's just a different allotted time, really.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge deal, it's just part of the job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that a lot of the husbands that get to that place realize that if you make that difficult for her, or don't allow that to happen, that they might not be able to get you to the point where like you guys are at, where Darren and I are at, where we're together a lot more than most married couples are together, so the time we have apart does nowhere near come to make up for the time we'd get to spend together. So I think that's a super important thing as well. So anything else you want to share with us just about being like in that role as a husband, where your wife is gone or she works a lot, or any tips that you would give the other spouses?
I was kind of like Mark, she's on the phone all the time. So I was kind of like, well, it's a lot of time spent together, but we're not really together. She's on the phone and I'm just doing whatever, but it's not always like that. You get to a point to where, like you say, where you're going and doing stuff where the normal people are working, so you get to do stuff during the week. We go shopping together. We just do like normal stuff where everyone else would be working. She doesn't really have a job, so she can come work with me, or we can go do so many other, things, businesses. Just a lot of freedom.
Would you say that, because like I was just thinking about this today when I was like preparing for this call, but like, do you guys think that it's kind of like a different kind of bond whenever you have your spouse does this type of business, because you get to spend so much time together, because it kind of seems like a lot of married couples, unfortunately, nowadays have such separate lives. They're always going in 10,000 different directions. And like, I just feel like for Darren and I, like, not only do we love each other, but like we're partners, and we do, you know, like we just have this different thing that I think is missing a lot.
She works, you know, around me all the time, so I'm involved in like kind of behind the scenes. So we talk about what's going on together in her job, where I don't feel like most people, you know, discuss every issue with each other, but it's
Matt has an insider's guide to all the True Vision stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he knows everything that goes on, every conversation, every piece of drama, everything. This man knows it. This is like a Rolodex. But he is, what I will say about us not working the business together is he's sometimes, you know, again, the people that work together, I applaud that. But us, I like it because he's kind of my sounding board. And I know Darren does this too, because he'll do this for both of us too, Allie, is, you know, like kind of give us a different perspective of things that maybe we miss because we're so caught up in whatever's going on. Matt will say, okay, well, how about this? I'm like, oh, that's a really good idea. I didn't see it that way. But I think that's been something that's been, you know, so good for us is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, retire your husband. Well, for us, we've just opened the doors to other avenues. So a lot of the times people are like, why isn't Matt with you? Matt still has an everyday job, but it's flexible. You know, this business has given him the opportunity so he can travel more, or, you know, have more time. But there are times that Matt can't go because he's literally, you know, working on another goal that we have going on. So I think just across the board, our partnership is, you know, or he'll stay home with the kids. You know, we still have kids that, you know, I'm going to South Africa next month for a week. I'm going to miss our wedding anniversary, you guys. Like, and that's something that kind of hit him hard. And it hit me hard too. But we know that the sacrifices now are worth the success later. You know, when we went on Christmas vacation this year, I literally was like out of tune for like 5 days. I wasn't on my phone. I could step back because we have built those levels of organizations, you know, and leadership that's taking care of the problem while I'm gone. You know, even my level ones were like, oh, we know you're on vacation, and they literally gave me a break. So I think it's about balance and compromise and a whole lot of teamwork, a lot of trust, a lot of faith. Teamwork is the biggest thing. So that's my biggest encouragement, I think. And Matt gets to know everyone and, you know, kind of get to feel that and see that. So they are truly, these spouses are the backbones of this. So I appreciate that. And you have anything else?
No.
That's good. So we have some amazing supportive spouses, and I hope that if you all have any questions or want to get your spouses connected with ours or frustrations or whatever, again, that's kind of why we wanted to do this tonight, was so you could see what really goes on behind the scenes. You know, I'm bossy all the time, personal. So I appreciate you all. Allie, you have anything you want to close with?
No, but Trevor says that Matt's tip should be for all the husbands is go fishing more. That's the tip.
Yeah.
That's his
It helps.
It helps. It helps. His new boat that he's getting will probably help things a little bit too. Might make up for the anniversary deal. Not sure, kind of hoping.
Hey, Matt, I just want to throw out there, since you tend to know everything, don't believe stuff that Elisa tells you about me. Don't believe everything. I'm only a little bit wild. That's all.
Video footage, he said. Video footage. Videos don't lie.
Dang it.
She shows me.
Elisa, I'm not your friend anymore.
Perfect. Well, thank you all, and thank you to the spouses that participated, and thank you for making this special. This is a magical power hour that we'll have to do another time. Everyone that shared your story, thank you. We appreciate you, and we will see you soon. Good night, guys.
Good night. Love you guys.
Love you.